like I said, they're just going to show you when they stop you. They've already seen really 3 things: seatbelt, cell phone, or speeding. Okay. They also have their routine things that they have to get. They got to get their quota. I'm just kidding. So the end of the month, they'll hammer it. No. But they start. They start at the front, but that's why they want you here. So now, really, just pay attention of, hey, when you get stopped, what you're truly going to be up against on a day-to-day basis with these guys.
Well, first thing we're going to do, we're going to climb up in here and talk to you about the low air pressure warning system. You got to have your light and you got to have your buzzer, right? If one of them's not working, it's not a violation as long as the other's working. But if both of them go out, then it's an out of service. So if you are driving and your buzzer or your light goes out, make sure you let your company know, because if you don't and you get on down the road a little bit more and then the other one goes out, you get stopped, you're out of service. Okay? So we're going to check that, and it has to be between 55 PSI and or whatever your cutoff rate is. So what that means is when your pressure builds up, wherever it builds to and stops, so let's say it's 120, half of that is 60. So your low air warning needs to go off after 60 pounds, but prior to 55. Okay? Does that make sense? So let's just say anywhere between 60 and 55. Okay? If it gets down any lower before it comes off, which I just ran across, this was pretty new to me. One got down to 35. One got to 35 PSI, and then his buzzer starts going off, and his light. Well, he's out of service because it's not working. It's not correct. All right, so after we check that, we're going to ask you to turn on all your lights. Leave the truck running. Always leave the truck running.
Can I add something on the beginning of the
go ahead.
inspection report? And I see this oftentimes is that when we initially make contact with you up here and start talking to you, sometimes the driver has all their paperwork in their hand. They have their driver's license, and they just got stuff about to fly out of the truck, and they want to hand it all to me. And I have to go, hey man, I said, is this all your paperwork? And they go, yeah. And I said, well, you know, and I ask for it. I look at it, but then I say, hey, let's just lay it on top of the dash. And I grab their license is what I do. I make sure I have their driver's license. But so keep your hands free. When we ask for your paperwork, we'll ask for your paperwork on a roadside inspection. And then I've seen them try to do all the inspection stuff, holding chipping papers, and hey, put all that down. So we need hands free.
That does. I was going to bring up some courtesies for us, you know, as well. When we do stop you, I know some of the. I don't even know. There might be a couple of older guys in here that were taught that, hey, we get out and we come to the back. We don't want you to do that anymore.
Oh.
Well, I actually did make it over there.
He pointed at you.
We don't want you. We don't want you out of the truck because we're gonna end up coming back anyway. So just let us come up to your truck. If we want you out, we'll ask you to get out. And leave your truck running. Don't turn it off. I mean, we'll get to where we can hear you. And then we're gonna ask you to turn on all your lights like you're driving at night. It's real easy.
He runs the night route here.
That makes these lights come on, clearance lights, ID lights, everything come on that we're going to be looking for. So we'll go around the front. We'll ask you to watch us, and we're going to work off hand signals because your motor's going to be running. There's going to be traffic. There's going to be lots of stuff where you can't hear us. And the universal, these I think are universal. If Brent has anything different, you know, he can certainly chime in. But you know, we're going to ask for your high beams. Okay. You should already be on low beams, so we're going to be high beams, blinker to either side that we point to. We're going to ask for your windshield wipers, and when we ask for your windshield wipers, go on and turn those on and turn on some water, okay? Because you got to have water in there too.
Yeah. You do have to have what?
Water.
Yeah, washer fluid. It's not out of service, but it gets you there.
Yeah, and believe it or not, I mean there are some that will hammer your butt for that.
Last time I checked, it hasn't killed anybody, but guys hammered.
I had a sergeant in Mount Pleasant that would not let you put a violation for not having water on there. So it just depends on where you're at. But anyway, I'm just letting you know to be correct, to be right. Then we're going to ask you to honk the horn.
Yeah.
We're going to ask you to honk the horn. We don't care if it's the big one or the little one in your horn. We prefer that little one on the horn. So we don't get our ears blown out. Some of these things are loud as hell. And once we get done there, and this is a level 2 inspection, guys. Okay, there's a difference. Yeah. Level 1 is going underneath, checking the brakes, checking everything underneath. We can't do that unless we have a partner. So that's usually at the scale house or if we have a scale operation. So we're normally going to be doing a level 2, and so we're going to start walking around the truck. And first thing we're going to come to is the driver's side tire. All right, so we're going to look for any loose lug nuts. Anything looks loose or missing. We're going to look for cracked rims. Then we're going to look at your tire. Ray gave us this little, man, that thing is cool. The challenge coin that y'all have that has the 2 30 seconds and 4 30 seconds. All right, so does anybody know what the violation is for 30 seconds on the front steering axle?
Less than how
Anything
much?
under what?
500 under
4. Anything under 4 is a violation. Anything under 2 is an out of service, automatic. Okay? So once these things start wearing, man, this is your life. Yours and everybody else out on the road. These tires is what keeps you safe. I promise you. I mean, I didn't believe it until we started doing pursuit driving down in Florence. I mean, even wet, I mean, these tires will save your life. The people that slide off the road, I firmly believe they got crappy tires.
The first thing we look at is their tires.
Normally, probably 95% of the wrecks, they got crappy tires. So always make sure you got good tires on here. Most of us will ask you to turn that wheel to the left. That's why we want to keep it running, because you probably can't turn it with it off. So we want to turn the wheels to the left. And we're going to check for anything broken, cracked, loose. Under here, we'll watch it turn. And then we'll check your front brakes. We can check those. So we'll ask you to push and hold your brakes. And most of us have been doing it long enough that we know pretty much what 1 3/4 to 2 inches is. These are...
Y'all know what we're looking at with the brakes? It's your brake chamber, it's your push rod that comes in and out, the push rod travel. And the measurement from the brake to how far it goes out. That's what we're looking at. And top 20s, they're all 1 3/4. If it comes out more than 1 3/4, we're going to take a little bit better look at it. But, you know, most of us are, you know, pretty well at it, so we know what it is, and we'll tell you to release if we think it's good. Right? Myself, I'll then go to the other side and I'll check the other, do the other brake, do the exact same stuff for the front tire and front brake, and check for anything broken or loose underneath. And then I'll come back around here, and then we'll just start right down the side here, checking your gas tank. I want to make sure there is nothing leaking out of that. Any fuel leak you have on any vehicle is an automatic out of service. If that fuel tank is not secured the way the manufacturer secured it, that is an automatic out of service. Okay, so that's pretty important, and that's something you can see right here. And what I'll do is just step on it. If it don't move, it's probably secure. And I'll look underneath, see if anything is dripping.
What about the fire extinguisher inside? Is it supposed to be secure?
Yes, fire extinguisher is supposed to be secure.
Can you explain an out of service for those that they're going, hey, out of service? What's he talking about?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Huh? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, the federal motor carrier laws is what we're talking about. All the federal laws, and some are serious, more minor violations like windshield washing system, and then there's more serious violations dealing with tires and brakes, broken stuff, cracked things, and we have a criteria that we follow on the out of service violations. It's a whole new separate book that we go by, and the feds have adopted all these laws under the out of service criteria. So if we do an inspection and your violations fall into that handbook, into those criteria, then we place you out of service. You're parked until those are either fixed or, you know, hours of service till you gain hours and all the above.
So that truck does not move. It needs to be towed.
If you violate an out of service, if you get caught violating an out of service order, that's a Class B misdemeanor. In the state of Texas, Class B misdemeanor, you go to jail. And we don't call the company to come get that truck. We're going to impound it. So y'all want to avoid jail? Absolutely. I want to avoid your company getting their truck towed. And we don't have a choice. We're not doing this to be whatever. Our policy and state law says if you commit a Class B misdemeanor or above, you go to jail. We can't write a ticket for you.
And I have a lot of drivers who'll look at me and say, "Hey man, I'm just trying to make it back to our yard." And I'll say, "Well, where's your yard at?" "It's all the way across Dallas."
Yeah.
And I'll go, "Man, your tires are about to blow out on the truck. If you drive from here and you blow those tires out, and you kill a family of 4, I'm held just as much liable as you are. So you're not moving that truck. We're fixing it right here. I'll follow you right over to Love's Truck Stop, or I'll follow you within a short distance around where we're at to try to work with you under certain violations. We'll work with you to try to. So oftentimes it's parked right here. You get a mobile work thing out and repair whatever needs to be repaired right there on the parking lot. So
Everybody good without a service?
Yes.
All right, then we'll look at the clearance light. Of course, that's got to be working. These 3 lights here, they're ID markers, and then you got your 2 clearance lights. Any vehicle over 8 inches in width is required to have these, and they're required to be working. I had a driver yesterday. I laughed, gosh, dog. Anyway, he took on the rear. He had 1, and he took the other 2 off. And he said, "Why? I heard the law was that if you take it off, then it doesn't. If it's not working, then it don't have to be there." Well, no, that's not the case. It was built with those 3 and 2. It's got to be there. It doesn't matter if it's daytime or nighttime. They got to be working when we do the inspection. That doesn't mean you got to have them on, but when we do the inspection, they got to be working. Okay.
And those are basic light requirements that are in the law. So you can have a whole row of lights across the top of your cab, and if those basic lights are not working, then those are violations. I don't care whether your other lights are working or not. So
I always was told that if it's on there,
Any light.
That's not true.
they all had to work.
no.
And they do have to be a certain color too. They got to be amber to the front and red to the rear. Good deal. All right, now we're coming back here on this particular truck. You've got these bolts right here. See how that one's? You can tell that one's been moved. I don't know if it's loose or not. But if I saw that, I'm gonna go under here and I'm gonna push it. If it moves, that's a violation. This box has to be secured. But that is something that I look for right there. And we'll look for cracks along this frame. Make sure there's nothing cracking. And there's certain, this box has probably been taken off.
Yeah, that's what he just said. That's what he was saying.
Yeah. And that's fine. I mean, that's why we'll get into there and shake it. Any crack in the frame is going to be a violation. It's got to be in certain spots. It's got to be a certain way in order to be an out of service violation. So we'll come here and I'll kick each tire. Make sure they got plenty of air in them. And when you look on the side wall of the tire, right, sit down. Anyway, maximum air pressure here. Yeah. All right. So we got max load dual and we got max load single. Max load dual is this setup right here. You got 4 sets of tires on 1 axle. That's dual. So your max load is 5675. So that's for your tire rating. And then for your air pressure, we've got 110 psi. So anything below half of 110, 55, is that right? Yeah. Is considered a flat tire and it's out of service. So always make sure you got in this type of tire 55 or above. All right. So I don't know how much weight y'all normally put on.
What do you normally? 6 pallets, 8 pallets on here?
10 pallets.
This would be 10.
11.
Ton of pallet, 20 pounds.
Okay. So this setup that you have right here is a tandem. Any set of axles within 9 feet is considered a tandem. And a dual tandem, we allow 34,000 pounds. So that's what you can have on here. Y'all probably won't ever run into being overweight. Single axle dual is 20,000. Or your tire rating, which are one's lease. But normally, like this one was 51 something times 4, so you got 22,000 gallons. So normally it's going to be 20, and fuel is 34. Yep.
You guys do that pre-trip. Step back. Look at those fuel faster. I step back when I check. I look at them first. I just look for one missing or it looks like it's been turned. And since you're driving this truck, and I do it sometimes on the inspection, I'll sit here and I'll just grab them real quick, turn them back in. I do that all real fast. And you'd be surprised. Keep doing that, you will find one that's loose. Or even you just roll it right off. So I do that, and then I look for those wheel cracks. And I look for cracks on this wheel. And I'll look, if they run from eyelet to, you know, sometimes we have more than one eyelet. If they run from eyelet to eyelet, then you can be out of service for that. So those are 2 things I want.
Oh no, we appreciate this.
Then, of course, for the frame, or excuse me, for your your axle positioning parts, your springs and all that stuff, we're going to look for cracks as best we can because, like I said, we're normally out here by ourselves, and we cannot. Our policy says we can't go underneath this truck just for safety reasons. I mean, y'all can understand that. So we're going to try to look as best we can at these axle positioning parts under here. Your airbags, you've got a deflated airbag or anything like that. We're going to try to find it, but here again, we're going to look for your tire tread, and anything below 230 seconds on your rear axles is going to be a violation. All right, and to get 2 out of service, you got to have 2 that are right next to each other, and it's a big long deal. You got to find them in 3 different parts, and it's a bunch of mess. But just know if anything's under 230 seconds, you know it's going to be a violation.
Any type of steel ply.
Yep.
It's a violation.
Yeah, if anything's showing, your metal, you got a cut in your sidewall, that's a violation also. So make sure your tires are good. I can't stress enough about tires. Make sure they're. Then we'll come back here. We're gonna look for the
Gotta have mud flaps.
Gotta have mud flaps. Dual wheel vehicle has to have mud flaps.
Gotta have mud flaps.
You know, the motor carrier safety regulations state on the mud flap 8 inches from the bottom of the flap
8 inches.
to the ground. Our department, we give you at least 12 inches. Okay? It is a violation less 8 inches or less. But we give you just to know that DPS, state police, will give you at least 12.
All right.
So,
And if any of you guys drive your truck's bobtail, bobtail is not required to have mud flaps, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But because they're normally going to have a trailer behind it, so it's not going to. You normally don't have to worry about it. But if you are running up and down the road and you get out there and you look, oh shit, I ain't got a mud flap on here. You're okay as long as you're in the bobtail.
So if my driver goes to Fort Worth and he gets pulled over by, I forgot what his name is, but he's always on 20. You know what I'm talking about. But he's running bobtail. He doesn't have a mud flap. He gets a ticket.
He can't get a ticket.
Okay.
He can't.
All right.
Just let me know and I can data keep.
Hopefully
All right.
the guy.
he can give you a ticket, but it ain't a violation.
Hopefully that guy knows the law.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
I mean,
Now make sure they got the reflectors
definitely.
on that bracket.
Okay.
So we'll stand back here. We'll make sure you can see us out of your rearview mirror, and we'll do the same thing, blinker either side. Okay, and we're gonna ask you to push your brakes, and then hit your 4-way flashers, show your hazard lights are working. Then we're gonna look for your clearance lights and your ID lights. In the rear, they have to be red. And we're gonna look at your brake lights, make sure you got everything working good, and you have a license plate light. You gotta have a license plate light. That's Texas law. That's anywhere law.
These reflector stickers, are those okay, or are they too tore up, or what
Yes,
do you
that,
think?
That's good.
that's
Is that
okay.
good?
Yes.
I got a question.
Yep.
Indiana, they don't have plates in the back.
We talked about
Well,
that.
they should, but unless it's an apportion plate. When it's an apportion plate, they only give you one, and it's required to be put in the front.
It's probably a portion tag.
Because a portion are normally on a truck tractor.
Right.
Yeah, so
Right.
He got stopped in Gainesville.
It wasn't me.
Well, he got stopped in Gainesville City, and I talked to Matt on it. And we discussed it. I called the Gainesville, our JP, and sent him the letter from.
Wrote him a ticket?
Gave him a warning. Gave him a warning for it. But here again, we then printed out the form, put it in the trucks at every truck because we, like I said, they're long-term leases, and to be proactive and say, hey, you stop again. Here's the letter of what Indiana law is.
Sure. Okay.
Now, he did tell me that if I went through Gainesville again with that same truck, I was going to get a ticket. Actually, I was going to get 3.
Yeah.
I told him, you can give me 3. You can't give me nothing.
Well, once you found out you were right, then you should have called him and said, hey, you can't give me nothing. I'm glad you brought that up about that tape, too, and Ray told me to mention that. But
that was a fatality.
On the side of your trucks?
Yeah.
On the side of your trucks, you're required to have the reflective tape, and it's required to cover at least 50% of the length of the truck or trailer, whatever you get. And normally when I'm back here, I try to check these brakes as well. And what we look for, if that brake's working, what's that drum gonna look like? It's gonna be what? It's gonna be clean. It's gonna be shiny. So if I look right there and I see rust, see a bunch of rust, that tells me that brake's not working. So I can put a defective brake on this one right here just for that reason, and I know it's not working. Got to be shiny.
We don't even use this truck. This is an extra one.
No, it's not. It's good.
It's okay, Ray. It's okay.
Tommy, where'd you get it? The wrong damn truck?
You said you were going to put his truck out there.
No liar, man.
Ain't my truck, your fleet.
So even though we can't crawl underneath it, there are ways we can find it.
So, is this bad?
No, that's good.
No,
that's good.
Okay.
He's telling us take a good look at that and make sure it's operating.
Si está sucio, ¿no? Si está sucio. Si está oxidado. El mojo, todo lo que falta. Pero debe estar limpio. Es la balata que debe estar limpia.
I'm looking for.
Okay, so it's
Brakes are great.
Yeah, it's working.
One at the top, one at the bottom, and then there's going to be a gap.
Ya que luego mintió.
See if it's shiny. Okay.
Hey, one thing while you're back here or Officer Lamba, is there a DOT rule to have this door rolled up or rolled down? And while I'm saying we got stopped in Alabama, it's the law to have it rolled down. And he popped us for 3 violations, and the back door was rolled up.
Oh, I got okay.
So he was so it's trying to explain to the our coworkers here that even if you're empty, running this thing to Ryder or whatever for a PM. Roll the door down. That's easy low hanging fruit for them just to pick. I mean, it just depends.
Well, just because you see a lot of Coca-Cola drivers and beer trucks have their doors wide open.
I know,
some drive without doors on them. So
Me personally, I don't see that as equipment problems. I see it as more as load securement issues. You have a semi-trailer with a door up going down the road and it's just sitting in a pallet. Is it blocked and braced properly? What if something happens? Is everything in the back of that trailer or truck going to slide out? So that's why that door needs to be secure to block or brace it. You got this right here, which could block and brace.
Try to stress that hey, we roll them down.
Nobody's ever mentioned that to me, so I don't know if it is a law.
We got
like I said,
I think it is in Texas.
like I said,
in the federal.
Yeah, we go off federal regulations.
It's in the
throughout
Fed book.
United States.
I got the ticket in Ozark, Alabama.
I'd like to see the side number.
100 doors.
That's $395 something.
I'll bring my Fed book in here.
I know that's what they do it when all day.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, in the beers company.
If we do, I say put your door
Hey, the right-hand side is basically the same as what we did on the other side. We're going to look for all the same stuff. On your other trucks, not necessarily this one, because it's not long enough. If you've got a side marker lamp, that's got to be working. That can count as 2 things. It can count as your blinker, and it can count as your side marker lamp. But at all times, it has to be steady burning. So if you're using it and all it's doing is a blinker, and it's not working unless you're using your blinker, that's a violation. So if you have a side marker lamp that is midway through the length of the vehicle or the trailer, make sure it's steady burning, always steady burning. That's on both sides. It's not on this one, so I can't show you that. So we'll come back here. Anything? This right here is, I guess it's a fuel tank.
Fuel tank for
We
the
consider it the same thing as
regular
any.
tank, yeah.
Yeah, if it's for the reefer, if you got a bigger truck and it's got the same thing back here, we're gonna make sure it's secure. We're gonna push on it, make sure it's not leaking anything, and go on. So, and I've already been to this one, done this one. You'll have these right here. These are your air tanks.
Yeah.
These have to be secure also, just like the gas tank. If that's not secure, that's out of service. So always make sure that thing is secure.
That's a violation.
That is a violation.
So check your hood latches.
Always make sure it's latched. Always make sure it's down. So we've gotten all the way around the truck, and then I'm going to come ask for your fire extinguisher and your triangles. You got to have 3 triangles or 3 flares, and you have to have a good working fire extinguisher, and it's got to be secure. Can't be just rolling around in there. So you'd be surprised how many trucks I stop and we open up that little side pocket and there's white dust all over the place. That thing's gone off because it's rolling around in there. So always make sure it's secure, and you got at least 3 flares and 3 triangles.
Yeah.
Without a fire extinguisher, that's out of service, right?
Yeah.
Violation.
Depending on if you're hazmat.
Oh,
But you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, if you're hazmat, you don't have a fire extinguisher. Yeah, you'll be in a bind. Let's see. As far as paperwork's concerned, we talked about the Texas DMV cab card. Always make sure you got it on paper form, and coming up in April, I believe, it can be done electronically. Make sure you got a good current insurance card. Yes, sir.
What about fuels? Like replacing the fuels?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got to have spare fuses, and got to have your 8 days worth of blank logs, and you have to have the instruction manual for your ELD or your AOBRD. Okay?
And I've sent all the instructions out on that page on how to. It tells them the instructions on how to pull the hours of service up. There's a spot in there that shows we're running AOBRDs, and it's got a screenshot of my business card in case there's any questions.
Gotcha.
And those were sent out a few weeks ago to say you put in every truck. So I'm hoping managers have done that.
Gotcha.
If they haven't, you need to reel your manager in, and you need to. They've got it, so you need to let them know. It says, hey, get that shit in your truck.
Other paperwork that we're going to look for is an annual DOT inspection. If there's not a sticker on the side of the door, then you need to have a piece of paper that says you got an annual inspection. But if you don't have the paper, or you don't have a sticker, that is a violation. Insurance.
Anybody know when our insurance card expires?
Yeah, in December.
December what? You remember?
18.
Huh?
18.
15.
15.
15th. Good job. That's a big deal for us.
So, and then we're going to ask for your shipping papers. I don't know if y'all carry around shipping papers. No.
It's all done on our handheld, but when they do their logs, they'll put in.
No, we are the transport. We have to have
Okay,
it.
so you don't have it.
Yeah, we have to have it.
If you don't have a shipping paper, that's okay. The only ones that are required to have it are hazmat. So, but we'll ask you where you going, where you coming from with it.
But don't get lazy. Keep doing it.
Yeah, yes,
always
it's better. Yeah.
It's a good idea. So, for me, that's basically the truck. You got anything else? Covered. Make sure you never put a radar detector in your vehicle. You never have any alcohol in the vehicle or drugs. Those are automatic 24-hour out of service. It don't matter if you've got a beer can that's been laying in there for 3 weeks, none open. You got any alcohol in the truck or the bed of the truck that is not on your manifest, you're out of service for 24 hours.
Or if you've been
whether
drinking,
you've been drinking or not.
If you've been drinking heavy the night before.
Yeah.
You then get
and I know
where I run across it.
I know this is not part of it, but you know, back in my younger days when I used to drink quite a bit, you know, and go to work at the local gas station when I was a kid, I might have, you know, I don't know if I'd gotten rid of it all night because I was up till 3 or 4 in the morning. You know, I could do that when I was 21, 22 years old. Can't do that now. But
Still drink as much.
if you do that, let's say you've been out partying all night and you've had a lot to drink and you decide it's a good idea to come on back to work. And you're not a .08 or above, so you're not legally intoxicated, but you are a CDL driver. You get stopped and you have any alcohol in your system, you're automatically out of service for one. But if we take you to the jail and we have you blow into an intoxilizer and you blow a .04 or above, that is an automatic suspension of your CDL for 1 year. So that's just food for thought. Keep that in mind.
Livelihood.
So when you get your CDL in Texas, do you lose your rights to have a gun?
CDL? No,
Yeah.
no.
You
That's
don't
a
lose your rights.
company. Thank you for bringing that
Because
up.
I've heard about So.
That's a company policy. If you have a concealed handgun license, or you just want to carry your gun here in Texas, you're more than welcome to do it. Federal Motor Carrier has no regulations on that. That is a company policy. Ray can tell you if you can or can't, or whomever your boss is.
You cannot carry it in the truck. You bet you want to train on this? Got HR here too. So,
You can't even have it in your car.
on the premises.
All right, so that answers y'all's question.
What's your question?
Now, I was
You
wondering.
don't lose. You don't lose your
I
right
was
to a
wondering
gun
if you
because
lose
it's
your
CDL.
rights because of the
Not at all.
CDL. That's what I was.
Not at all.
Okay.
I've been told two different things. I've been told that if you have a CDL, that counts the same in your personal vehicle, or
No.
is it only in the commercial?
That is correct. You're in commercial
Yeah.
vehicle.
I was wondering.
That's not correct. So, hey, any other questions? Because we've completed the walk around. It's pretty much going to be that way. If they do a level 3 on you, all they're going to do is take the paperwork. That's it.
Okay.
Make it real quick. Huh? I've been doing this 2.5 years. Not one time have I ever done a level 3, because hell, we're already here, so
he does
I might as well walk around it. Huh?
You do 1,000 inspections a year.
Yeah, I do a lot. So, yeah, it's not worth my time and your time for me to stop you just to check the paperwork. I won't check the truck too. It's only going to take me about 20 minutes. So. Anything else? Any other questions?
Anybody got any more questions? All right, so what I want to do, because we're on this side, is I want to get a picture of everybody and the officers either in front of the truck, and I'm going to stand over there, and I'm going to step far away to get everybody. But I'd like to get a couple of pictures, please. And first, I want to thank them for their time. We appreciate them coming.